Megumi's a delinquent? Amai's a delinquent? Yuji's a delinquent? Are there any more delinquents I should know about? Greetings from the far side of the galaxy. I'm Fury, your host the most, here to bring you a story about ghosts and delinquents apparently, because seriously, Akutami-sensei uses that backstory a lot. Before we move on, I gotta ask that you like and subscribe per the usual. With that out of the way, let's dive right on into today's chapter, Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 163, Tokyo Colony number 1, part 3. Our chapter begins in the far off past of like a year ago maybe, couldn't have been that long. We see a delinquent Amai criticizing a kid in his head, saying that he's going about blending into a group all wrong, making himself stick out and thus become a target. A bit of interesting character development for Amai, showing him as a guy who can read social interactions very well and uses that skill to live a very passive life. There's going to be trouble until, wandering into frame like a cowboy during sunset, Yuji tells them to cut it out. Things get violent, but Yuji, who is apparently a bit of a delinquent in the past, was a badass before he had cursed energy and floors all the bullies except Amai. Pulling a page from Kengan Ashura, he asks if Amai wants to fight too before we flip over to the present. There's a small scene where we see Reimi leading Megumi to her hideout so she can collect some stuff. On the flip side of things, Amai leads Yuji to Tokyo Metropolitan Theater where Higuruma is supposed to be waiting. We also get the first in-text confirmation that Mr. Propeller's name is Haba, so mark that down I guess. And very interestingly, Amai struggles to tell Yuji that he's sorry for something, only managing to choke out the words when Yuji's already gone. On the flip side of things, we get the answer to the million-dollar question. The red herring was a red herring, the dreaded double bluff. Reimi acted evil cause she was evil. Honestly, a very basic fake out, but hey, it fooled me, so that's a W for Akutami-sensei. Megumi is face to face with Mr. Receipt, who's wearing receipts? I don't really know, it's like a Mino made out of receipts, which I mean, I kinda dig the fashion, but that's really not the point right now. The point is that Megumi got duped, but rather than be bothered, he just summons Totality, ready to add to his kill count. On the flip side of things, we see Higuruma just sorta chillin' in the tub with his clothes on. A little weird, but the vibes check out. Yuji asks what the hell he's doing, and Higuruma explains that he's basically just trying new stuff, getting a new feel for life, you know? After a not that good joke, Yuji realizes this is a modern dude. There should be room for negotiation, or so he thinks. The moment Higuruma hears that Yuji wants to end the calling game, he says no. You see, Higuruma sees value in the calling game, where there's no need for trials because penalties are automatically enforced. Someone like Higuruma, who has seen how inept the justice system can be, might actually be on Kenjaku's side. If Kenjaku's plan works and someone manages to reach the evolved state after fusing with Tengen, then they might be able to set up a calling game-like system across the entire world. An interesting proposition, but something that Yuji ultimately has no interest in. With a sigh, Yuji simply rephrases his question as a statement. You are going to help us in the game. Higuruma gets out of his tub and summons his Shikigami, asking if Yuji knows how good it feels to kill someone you hate. And thus, our chapter ends there. Honestly, I'm feeling pretty jived about this one. Akutami-sensei is setting up the battles really well. Megumi gets a 2v1 which he's really well suited for thanks to his technique, while Yuji goes 1v1 with Higuruma. Considering how little we know of the enemies, I expect the flow of the battle to go like this. The good guys get caught off guard by the bad guys' technique, the good guys figure it out, and then the good guys counter it to win the fight. Of course, we're splitting 2 battles across these chapters, so I don't expect each battle to progress super quickly as we flippity flip-flop between them. My outline also doesn't account for any twists or turns that might happen. I bet Amai will probably join the losing battle against Higuruma and reveal his technique helps counter Higuruma's Shikigami. And for Megumi, I expect him to whip out a new summon or maybe show a new application for one we've already seen. On one hand, these predictions would make for good fights, and on the flipped hand, I'm stupid and wrong often and a lot. So here's a grain of salt to go along with my predictions. In conclusion, I rate this chapter a strong 9 out of 10. I'm really hyped for the battles to come, if only to see more of that trademark Jujutsu Kaisen action. As always, let me ask you to like and subscribe because this is your host Fury signing out.